morning, guys, and welcome to my farm. My name is Jessica, and today I am going to be doing another week of the pantry challenge. Trying out some new recipes that I wanted to try out, and this just gives me an excuse to do that. I hope you guys enjoy my videos, and if you do, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, and please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any more videos. Let's get going. Starting off the week, I made 2 batches of cinnamon rolls so that way I could freeze some for later, which I ended up using later in the week. And because I ran out of time while making the cinnamon rolls, I did not end up frosting them. Now all I'm doing here is I rolled it flat and then I melted some butter and I spread it out. If you had softened butter, it would work even better, but I didn't plan that far ahead. I was just craving cinnamon rolls, so I decided to whip some up. I spread some brown sugar out, and then on top of the brown sugar, I am going to be sprinkling some cinnamon. And then all I do is roll it up lengthwise, and then I cut it into area. Then you leave it rise for several hours. It says an hour and a half, but I left it rise over while I went out and do chores, so it was about a couple hours, and then I baked it. Now, later in that day, I actually got out some ground turkey that I had in the freezer, and to kind of flavor it like beef, I added a couple of logs of ground beef and I cooked them together. And the majority of this meat I am going to can since I ran out of meat earlier. Then I also got out a ham out of the freezer and I put it in the roaster with some water on the bottom for later in the week. Alright, it's been cooking for about 15 minutes. I got it at lower than I normally do, just because I got the turkey in there, and I'm not quite sure what temp to do it at. So we're going to grind her up and stick her back in to cook some more. Alright, my ground turkey and my ground hamburger is all done. Now I'm just going to can this. I have yes, George. I'm just going to get this canned into my hot sterilized jars and process it in my pressure canner is all I'm going to be doing. I just follow the recipe or the guidelines that came with the pressure canner that I bought. Alright, for lunch I am going to warm up we have one of these fancy soups. I'm just going to warm that up in the microwave. And I'm going to make us some cheese sandwiches. I decided to add, hold on, let me get it focused, some peas and carrots to the soup. And I'm going to warm that up in the microwave and then I'll drain it. Then I'll drain it and then I'll mix it in with the soup just to add a little bit more vegetables in because I feel like carrots and peas and carrots. Alright, after thinking about it, I have decided I'm going to make some grilled cheese sandwiches. Now, I do not have any softened butter, so I'm just going to I just cut off a little bit, put the butter down, stick my bread on top, and I'm going to do that to the other sides. Okay, got the butter down, I better get the bread on there so it gets soaked into the bread. Now, I'm using up the last of my cheese. I can get you in there. There we go. Just need to soak the butter into the bread first. Gotta get more cheese out of the refrigerator or freezer. Getting low. So now all I'm doing is letting the butter melt and soak into the bread, and then I will actually combine it, and then I'll flip it and cook it. Okay, as you can see, the cheese is melted. Look at the other side, it's nice and toasty brown. So, grilled cheese are done. Water's drained. I'm just going to mix these together. They're both heated up. And here we go. There we go. Alright, I'm going to put some back in George's bowl, and then we're going to eat our food. All right, there's the finished lunch. It was delicious. Now for supper, we just had ham and potatoes and green beans. And then for breakfast on day 2, we had pancakes. Just the usual add water pancakes. Nothing fancy. And we topped it with our usual apple butter. And I do believe George on this day also wanted to have some fruit cocktail, little fruit cups we had. So that's what we had with it. All right. For lunch, we're just doing simple tuna fish sandwich. Cheese, and I had some leftover lettuce I need to get used up. And George also found a mandarin orange, so he's gonna eat that also. And that's gonna be our lunch. Simple and easy. Here I have a pot. I cooked up 1 bag of egg noodles. I added 1 jar of my home canned tomato sauce. I have a little bit left of my ketchup here. I'm gonna dump that in there. Okay, and then some of the cooked meat that I made the other day, I kept it aside and didn't can it. George, and then I found a bag of this sweet corn that I canned up. It had a hole in it, so that's why I'm making this. So I'm just gonna add it to the rest of this. And from the looks of it, I'm gonna need probably some more ketchup. All right, I added another half of ketchup. And all I'm gonna do is cook it until basically the corn and all this is nice and warm. All right, and to getting it mixed up, I see it's not quite dark enough, so I'm going to add some more ketchup, yep, and probably some Italian seasoning, just a little bit. Yeah, that's good enough. Now I'm going to mix it up. We're making some dirt dessert here, and we don't have a full thing of Oreos like it calls for, so we had to only use what we had. So normally you would take a full thing and mix it with 2 tablespoons of butter, but since we don't have it, we're going to forego the butter. And just we crushed up what Oreos we had. We kept some aside for the topping. Next step was he made up 1 box of chocolate pudding, stuck it in the fridge so it could firm up. 1 tub of Cool Whip and 8 ounces of cream cheese and whipped it together. Then he took the ready pudding and he mixed it into the cream cheese mixture. Just like that. Alright, pour our mixture on top. Now if you have gummies, you can add it afterwards, but we don't got gummies. So we'll just forego it.
Okay, George.
Spread it evenly out. Sample to make sure it tastes good. Wicked good. Sprinkle a little bit of the remaining Oreos on top. Maybe. Hold it in. There we go. Oh my God. Now I am getting ready. It's the night before. I'm gonna get ready what I want to make for breakfast. I am blanking on what they are called right now, but I am just putting some generic pancake syrup, or if you have the good maple syrup, that works too. Okay, now that I got that done, I'm just going to sprinkle some pecan pieces. Usually I like the small ones, but these will do. Yeah, close enough. And then the other day I made cinnamon rolls and I froze them. I'm just going to stick those right on top of that. And hopefully they rise better than their counterparts did the other day. Just get those in there. That one apparently is frozen together. Now I'm just going to let it sit out overnight and I'll bake it tomorrow. There are the sticky buns after they're cooked. All right, today I got some buns out of the freezer, and we used up some of the ham from last night. Got out a cheese slice from the freezer, and I grabbed some pickles from the basement to top off our sandwiches, and that's what me and Georgie are having for lunch, are some ham sandwiches. All right, for supper, I'm getting supper in the crock pot because I work tonight. So I chopped up the rest of the ham. I got enough for another meal that I'm going to put in the freezer. But this part, I'm just going to make some au gratin potatoes and ham and put them in the crock pot. So I'm going to put 2 boxes of these in the crock pot. I got these last year. They were on sale for 29 cents. So I picked up actually several boxes and I kept going back. They had it for about 3 or 4 weeks and I went back and got a bunch. So I'm going to add this ingredients to this and I'm going to put it in the crock pot. All right. There it is. Now I'm just going to set it on low and let it cook until supper. All right, and then the next recipe that I'm going to do is chocolate pudding in the microwave. It uses the regular baking chocolate. It's from 1999 Quick Cooking Annual Recipe from Days of Home. It is very good. Here is the recipe if you guys want a screenshot. But I put all but the vanilla into a bowl right here. And now I'm going to microwave it for 3 minutes. Alright, that is after 3 minutes. And then you're going to stir. And you're going to put it in 4 to 6 more minutes. And you're going to stir after each minute. So, get all the clumps broken up. Stick it back in. Alright, it is all done. Nice thick. And all I need to do is add the 1 teaspoon of vanilla and it's good to go. I like this because it is cooled. It forms a nice layer of pudding. It's almost like a crust, but it's so good on top. But yep, that's it. Alright, good morning guys. I'm going to be making some instant oatmeal muffins. It's going to be a new recipe. So, I already got my butter and eggs. I'm going to make a double batch. And I'm sitting down because I'm really tired. Alright, me and George are going to get these made up. Here we go. Alright guys, there it is. Now, because I'm doing apple, I think even though the recipe doesn't call for it, I am going to add some little pecan pieces. Just to have some crunch in there, huh? Probably should have cut them up a little bit. Oh well, it's already in there.
No.
And then instead of doing muffins, I'm going to take a pie pan, spray that, and I'm going to make it like a little cake. I'm going to get these in the pie pans and then in the oven. Alright, a double batch of that recipe makes 4 pie pans of food. So I'm going to get these in the oven. Finished product, and as you can see, I already sampled it, and it actually is really good. I definitely will be making this recipe again. I will have a link to in the description below for this recipe. Today for lunch, I decided to do like a chicken pot pie thing. Remember we did those freezer meals a couple of days ago, or actually it was a couple weeks ago already, and I made chicken pot pie without any buns. So I pulled out some of the freezer buns, and I'm going to stick those in the oven. Then I got out the chunk, it's a frozen chunk, of the chicken pot pie, and I'm going to stick that in the microwave since it's quite frozen. I can't get that plastic out, so I've got to nuke it up a little bit, and then I can actually cook it. Alright, it's all cooked up. Biscuits are ready. I'm just going to dish up some bowls and get eating. Since I worked, everybody ate pot pie for dinner. Then for day 5, they had leftover apple muffins. For lunch, we had more pot pie. And then for dinner on day 5, we just would eat whatever left over in the fridge. Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's videos. I will see you again next week. I did manage to go through all of my freezers, my cupboards, all my cans of food, and I wrote down a list of things I needed to use up. Actually, I kind of made like little sections so that way I can. And then I actually did write a list because I'm like bling sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes am. All right, and then I went through and made a list of recipes that I wanted to try, or I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys have that, but I had a moment. Anyway, I made a list of recipes that I want to try, and this pantry challenge will give me the opportunity, now that I have gotten into it and kind of working my way through things. And I actually enjoy not having to go to the grocery store every week because I haven't had to. We eat a lot of dairy for our cheese because I had cheese because I freeze a lot of cheese, you know, when it's on sale, especially in June. I stock up, and then I buy cheese slices, and then I buy the big logs of cheese slices, and then I chop it up into, I don't really chop it, I break it up, and then I freeze it into individual portions. That's something my grandma taught me how to do. And that's how she was always able to have cheese on hand back in the day when times are really hard. So some of these things I learned from my grandma. Some I picked up. I watched YouTube channels. Just various things I've learned throughout the time. So I will see you guys next week, and I hope you guys have a good week, and God bless.